Hello and welcome to Solo Adventures Together. A podcast where we send each other on adventures and then we come back and we talk about them.
Yeah, where did I send you this week?
Well,
I sent you 800 miles away to go visit my family.
To the remote Northern California.
The Lost Coast.
The Lost Coast.
The Redwood Curtain.
So a little different from what we normally do. Normally we send each other to some kind of event.
Yeah, unfortunately we did exceed the $50 limit this time.
Yes, we did, by a lot.
The $50 limit, yeah.
We did exceed the $50 limit by a lot. We didn't have time to record during the holidays, because holidays. So, sorry about missing an episode.
Visiting for Thanksgiving, and then...
Well, we did an episode in between, but we just during Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff was happening with the Santa Saunter. I got covered in Jell-O.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. It was great.
It's great.
Anywho, I ended up going on a solo trip back home to visit with family.
Bert, not now.
But well, he could come and sit with me.
Well, come on.
He missed me.
Yeah, he missed you.
He missed me. You were here.
Bert, okay.
Come here, Bert.
It's a big stretch, Bert. Did you want to sit on that chair?
Bert, come on.
Okay, you're just you want food. He's hungry.
He wants food. Of course he wants food.
It's a little more than 30 minutes until his food.
Oh.
For the fourth time today.
Oh, he must be starving.
So, what brought you north? Was it fun? Was it work? Was it family?
It was family, yeah. So I went up to, we hosted Thanksgiving, and we had your mom and your grandma. Oh, and Kiki. Hi,
she found
Kiki.
the chairs.
Your mom and your grandma, and we had my mom and my uncle, and my older sister came down, but we did not get to see my younger sister or my dad.
Right.
And I was really wanting to go and visit with them. So we had both planned on, initially, we were both planning on going up on this trip, but we were a little concerned with the cats.
Cats
having
are such little
moved
babies.
Just 4 months ago, and Bert in particular being difficult. If we had had someone who could stay at the house for the whole time and supervise the cats and make sure that Bert didn't beat up Kiki, because that's what he likes to do when we're gone.
He gets bored, and he's like, oh, what can I hit?
He gets bored and grumpy and lonely. Anyways, but we didn't have someone, so we kind of decided that maybe just I would go up this time, because it was my dad and my younger sister that I really wanted to get to see.
Yeah, and I had seen my mom during Thanksgiving, and I think both my parents are going to be driving.
Yeah, they're going to be coming down
sometime
in
soon.
June. That's what they said, in June. They want to come down and visit, so we'll see him soon enough. But I stayed with your parents, and that was really fun. We realized that we haven't actually spent a full night, a full 24 hours apart.
The entire time that we've lived together?
Yeah.
Since we moved in together.
Since since summer of 2019, because that was when you went to Argentina for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that would be the last time that we had spent more than 24 hours apart, which honestly, a little insane.
It is insane.
It's a little crazy, because it was never something we had intended on.
Yeah, it's bizarre, and I know that everyone's going to think that we're crazy, but we enjoy spending time together.
I
love hanging out with you.
Yeah, and you're my best friend, and I want to spend all the time with you because you make life better. That's kind of the whole thing.
I mean, as crazy as that is,
Well,
I mean, is it weird for me to love my wife? I don't know. Is it weird for me to want to hang out with you and spend time?
Gay. I mean,
is it gay to love your wife? I don't know.
That's the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Chat, is it gay to love my wife? And hang out and spend time with her and want to chat and stuff?
Not when your wife is as cool as me.
Yeah. You're basically one of the boys, so maybe it is gay. I don't know.
Except when you have boys' night and I'm not allowed in and everybody
You were there.
I was there and everybody was like, go away. Like, it's my channel.
No, they were like, oh, she's here. Everyone be cool.
Yeah, everyone be nice.
Be cool.
Anywho, so I flew up.
Uh-huh.
And I had it was interesting because on the way up, I had two flights. The first one was a quick little jump over to LAX. And honestly, hilariously short flight.
Yeah, was it like 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
Basically, we got to cruising altitude, and we were at cruising altitude for 5 to 10 minutes, and then they were like, we're descending. And they literally said, we're not serving snacks.
Oh, I was going to say, it must have been fun to watch them speed run, giving everyone a drink and a snack.
Oh, no.
No drinks, no snack. What do you...
No snacks, no drinks. They're like, we're not serving drinks, we're not serving snacks. And they requested that everybody stay in their seats and not use the restroom.
No bathroom breaks?
No bathroom.
Oh, that's because you wore your gamer diaper.
I know. The seatbelt sign literally never turned off.
Captain's like, these people are cargo.
Yeah.
Nobody move. Nobody breathe.
So I landed in LAX. Mm-hmm. Easy peasy. And then my gate was literally the next gate over. Like, it was like number 10, number 11, or whatever they were. I think it was 43 and 44.
I'm sure they had at least a velvet rope or something dividing the two.
No. So, and I didn't really have to, there wasn't a whole lot of...
Kiki.
Your inner thigh is okay?
Yes, my inner thigh. My inner thigh is just fine. She's got some powerful legs, you know? For such a small, dainty little cat, the way that she launches herself is... it's a 0 to 100. There's no in between.
Yeah.
So you got to your second plane?
Mm-hmm. And the first plane was a pretty small plane. It was like 70 to 80 passenger plane, kind of 2 rows each side, not a big plane. And then there was another small plane from LAX to the Humboldt County Airport, which the Humboldt County Airport is called like the Arcata, Eureka, Redwood Regional Airport or something. It's got like 5 or 6 words in the name.
I mean, everyone's got to get their last name on there.
Everybody's got to get their name in there.
Yeah.
So, and it's just north of McKinleyville. It's not even in Arcata.
No, it's the Arcata Eureka Airport in McKinleyville.
Yeah. It's very confusing for lots of people. And
why would that be? Whatever.
Anyways,
just don't look at a map.
I mean, it's like the tiniest airport. Although I will say, tiny bit disappointed. Your mom did not come and wait for me at the...
What? She didn't wait for you at the gate? What, did they wait in the car?
She was in the car, yeah. She was in the car out front. So the fun...
She only waits for me.
One of the fun things about this airport in particular is that you actually can go and pick up someone from the plane. You get off the plane and you're just on the tarmac, right?
You walk down the little staircase.
You walk down the little staircase and you walk across the tarmac, and then it's like a big revolving door with like
with metal
bars, revolving door where you feel like cattle being processed, and you go through there, and then it's just open. Like, people can come in and wait for you there. It's really fun.
I did hear that airport used to be an old cattle distribution plant. That's a joke. I'm sorry.
You said it so deadpan.
Yeah, that was the part of the joke. That was part of the joke.
No, it used to be a military base.
Yeah, I know. Where they used to train and...
Yeah, they trained for flying in fog.
Yeah, taking off and landing in fog, which is hilarious that it is now a commercial airport that very routinely gets delayed. And there's fog and rain and...
Yeah. I will say... It was one of the most, so that second flight was one of the most beautiful flights I have ever been on.
Really?
The sky was incredible. And this is because it was absolutely storming.
Oh, but you were above the clouds.
So we were above the clouds, and it was raining a lot below us. I got, even though with my basic economy seats, I was not allowed to choose my seat. I was only allowed a personal item, so I had to put everything into a little backpack. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have a carry-on whatsoever.
No, why would you need one?
Or they charge you $65 at the gate per flight for your carry-on. if you were to get one. And I think it's so stupid. Anyways.
What do they use that space for if no one...
Nothing. There was nothing. If you didn't have a bag, there was nothing. They were just being dicks. I don't know. Anyway, so we get on, and I have some pictures that we can put with it that were so beautiful. Oh
really?
My gosh. Well,
I act surprised as though I haven't seen them already.
So you haven't seen them already.
Wow.
So what was interesting, because of the weather, now normally landing into the Arcata Airport, if you're coming up from the south, there's just the one runway, and they just land from south to north. But because of the weather, it's not a very long runway, and they had to go around and come from the north to the south. Oh. So they went out across the ocean and did a big, U-turn to come back the other way. And that was one of the most beautiful things. The storms out over the ocean, you could see that there was rainfall, but we were above the clouds, and there's like pockets of sunlight coming down. It really is cool. We'll make sure and put some pictures in the show notes.
Yes, the pictures will be you'll click on the link and see the pictures.
Yeah, you'll see the pictures. They're really cool. It was really great. The landing, not my favorite. Small plane, lots of wind, very gusty, and you're coming really low over the water.
First.
Really low along the coast. And I was like looking out the window. I'm like, oh, I know where that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. And I'm like looking, we're low. We're low. And it's like, everyone was pretty like everybody's holding on to their seat, like not having a great time. The flight attendants are in the jump seat. It wasn't great. We landed safe. That was fine. Everybody was a little shell-shocked, a little shaken up. And then when we go to get off the plane, the flight attendants are like, okay, just so everybody knows, it's really windy outside, so hold on to your hats. And we get outside, it's like super windy.
God.
Well, we found out. So, and the crazy part, right? I go out, your mom picks me up, we're going to go back to your parents' house, and we see smoke in the distance. And we're kind of like, oh, what's going on with that? And I'm looking and I see that there's a building on fire in the kind of, like, I don't know if you could say downtown. There's not really a downtown area, but in the where all the local shops and businesses are, there is a fire going on, and you're like, oh wow, that's a lot of smoke. That's a lot of smoke. When we get to your parents' house, and we could see from their living room window, we could see all the smoke coming. And I'm looking on the local news and stuff, and found out that there was a huge building fire that was affecting 7 different businesses. Mm-hmm. And it was really sad. Nothing was salvageable. They ended up, part of it was the winds that were buffeting me in the airplane were blowing this fire around like crazy. So you had firefighters fighting against 30-mile-per-hour gusts with this fire, and in the end, 7 businesses burned down, as well as a number of apartments. And honestly, it's a huge loss. This is a small town.
It's a large percentage of the businesses in that area.
It was absolutely massive loss. So we'll put some links to GoFundMe's if anybody is interested in helping out with our hometown. The current estimates are and now mind you, you gotta understand, this is a town, it's a college town, so the summertime population's a lot smaller than the school time population. But the population of this town's maybe 12,000 to 15,000 typically, depending.
Fluctuates, yeah.
And they estimated with their early initial estimates, which are most likely low, that there's $18 million in damage.
Wow.
And a big part of it is because the stores that were burned down, one was Northtown Books, which is
a lot of books.
A lot of books. So that went up, and that's a business who's been in Arcata since 1965, and in that location for the past 40 years-ish. There was a new store that was a cool board game store that had literally opened up 4 months ago. And then a gallery and kind of a World Imports store. And then on the back side of it was the Ace Hardware home store. They had a home store with like kitchen supplies and that kind of stuff, and a candy store, and the paint store. So the store with all the aerosols and paints and
it sounds like, unfortunately, a lot of fuel for a fire.
Yeah.
Like between books and paint.
Well, and it's old buildings, so
they're probably all made out of redwood.
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. But
those buildings have probably been there for.
Well, they're old buildings, and there's some apartments that were above the paint store and above. There's some apartments in that building, and they think that the fire started there. They haven't they've been doing, investigation, but they aren't sure where it started. The problem being pretty early on, they realized that the fire was very interior, like within the walls. And the firefighters had gone in and they made sure that all the occupants were out, and they were trying to get pets out and stuff. But the fire was too hot, and it started to become a major risk for the firefighters. So they had to get the firefighters out of there. And by that time, because it was such an interior fire and it was spreading between the buildings that were all next to each other, they realized that it was going to be a loss, that they just weren't going to be able to actually.
They can't save any of the structures.
But they were dealing with the 30-mile-an-hour winds. They really weren't going to be able to do anything because it was incredibly difficult to predict what was going to happen with the fire. So they really went on the defensive.
I mean, yeah, you got to protect the other buildings that are not on fire yet.
Exactly. And so they basically said, this half block is toast, and stopped working as hard to prevent that from burning down, because there was not a whole lot that they were going to be able to do, and instead focused on protecting buildings from spitting embers and making sure that everything was that no other buildings would be affected by it. And thankfully, there was no reported injuries or loss of life, so we can count our blessings for that. The major downside, though, was a number of people had literally just moved in to those apartments that week. I think, and I'm not 100% on this, but at least 2 of the tenants of that apartment building had just moved in that week. And from the ones that I have heard of, both of them lost their pets in the fire, which is really devastating. But they also lost literally everything. Yeah. And they had, just had all the expenses of moving and all that. So it's a huge pain and just really devastating. And then I also found out that the owner of the World Import shop lived above the shop. So they lost all of their personal belongings as well as their entire business.
And that business has been around for a while.
And they've been around for a while, and so it's devastating, absolutely devastating. So that was kind of and that happened literally as I was landing. So that kind of colored the whole weekend. And then additionally, there's a lot of issues with the fact that a paint store burned down. So it's
like a toxic situation? Or?
Right. Yeah. It's a huge environmental issue because they had to just pour a bunch of water onto burning paint.
And then the water goes
wherever. In addition to what was happening, there was also a gas main break that happened from the fire.
Oh, okay.
That made it worse.
Yeah.
And that was part of because there was gas leaking within the walls. And so that was part of why they're like, well, there's not a whole lot they could do about that.
Jesus.
But I read the press release from the fire captain, and they called every single ladder truck in the county to help with this fire, which I'm not sure how many that is, but they called every single ladder truck in the county to help with the fire. I think there was probably 6 or 7 of them. I don't know for sure. there was like 80 different firefighting personnel, and then basically there's like a county-wide emergency protocol thing. And so they had a ton of emergency personnel that showed up, like 80 firefighters, including off-duty firefighters, because the big thing was just limiting the damage. Because especially for a small town, that amount of damage is so insanely difficult to recover from.
Well, and all the buildings are touching. Like, they share walls. So
yeah, they all share walls, yeah.
That's even harder. Like, it could have been much worse.
It could have been much, much worse, for sure. And, you know, it was right next door to the Minor Theater, which is a historic, recently restored theater that it was a huge project. And the, you know, the bookstore is like a cultural center for the community. It's, anyways, devastating loss. So that happened. We drove by the pile of rubble the next day. That was still it was still burning because they hadn't.
Oh, like in the
yeah.
smoldering. Okay.
So on Friday, the fire started at like 3:00 ish, and by 6 or 7, maybe even a little earlier, they had called in an excavator, like the big hook, because they were starting to tear down the buildings to prevent, like, because if they could make it a smaller pile, they can keep the embers from spreading, because it was too windy and they just couldn't do anything, and it was already a loss. So they just got an excavator out there and they were doing emergency. And could you imagine being the like owner of a business and having to stand there where it's literally been maybe 3 hours from when you heard that a fire started to watching an excavator rip down, just destroy your business or your home. It's crazy. Yeah. And then the next day it was still, technically the fire wasn't out. Like, it's still burning within, and so they're still trying to put out smoke pockets and stuff. So that was like that was big. And that made it a really difficult trip to process.
Well, it didn't help that you also were sleep deprived and...
Yeah, I had maybe gotten 2 hours of sleep on Friday. And that was hard. But, you know, I had a good time with your parents. We were hanging out. We were having a nice time. My mom came up and was hanging out with us. I was helping your mom with building a YouTube setup she's going to be doing some YouTube stuff for her retirement project, which she's really excited about. So.
Teaching children into retirement, I guess.
Yeah, teaching little kids Spanish, as she loves to do. And my mom came up and we had a bunch of fun with that. That was a really nice time. And then the next day, really, I was just kind of...
You keep saying the next day. What day are we on?
Sorry, Saturday.
Okay.
So Friday,
got there. Gotcha.
Friday, all of that happened.
Gotcha.
It was crazy. And then Saturday, I visited with my dad, and I visited with my mom and my sister and my mom's best friend, who I haven't seen in some time. And then I went, and then Sunday, that's all we did Saturday. And then Sunday, I visited with my mom again, and I visited with my dad again. And went back to the airport to fly home. It was a quick trip.
It was a quick trip.
Yeah. It was
2.5
really quick.
days?
Yeah, 2.5 days. So my flight home. Now, my dad, he had really wanted to take me to the airport. He really, and I didn't want to take that opportunity away from him, because, you know, it's like one of those things where you get to do the last goodbye and you do the, you know, and so I was like, okay, like, yeah. But he's got some chronic health issues, and I could tell that he was getting pretty tired and that he was feeling pretty sore. And I was like, well, you know, why don't you take me to the airport now, even though it's an hour earlier than I need to be there? Because I've got some work that I can do, and while I'm at the airport, I've got some online work I can do.
It's always work, yeah.
Right, and you could drop me off, and I'll have, you know, I'll get some stuff done. And he was like, okay, that sounds great. And I was like, cool. So he takes me to the airport, And luckily, the Arcata Airport does have a lot of art in it. And so I practiced my art appreciation, and I've been reading a book called about art perception, or using art to improve your perceptiveness. And so I was really looking at the art, doing my very best to appreciate it. And that was fun. And then finally, because the TSA guy said that I wasn't allowed to check in yet. He said I had to wait, that I couldn't go through TSA.
You're too early.
Well, here's the thing. That airport is so small. It doesn't have, there's like the check-in desk, and then there's a rent-a-car station.
And then the gate to go through.
And the TSA checkpoint to the one gate. There's only one. It's like, the one terminal and one gate.
Maybe 100 chairs in there.
Yeah, there's chairs in there. I don't know if there's 100 honestly, but it does have a little cafe in it, which was closed on Sundays.
Of course.
So of course, the cafe was not open, and they have like a little free library. And then I hadn't been, you know how there's an observation deck and World War II memorial something. And I
had no clue that was there.
It's upstairs. And so I was like, oh, I haven't checked that out. Well, I'll go up there and see what that's like. The observation deck has, in my opinion, a worse view than the gate does for like the planes, because there's a roof that's half in the way. And then the World War II memorial was literally just a placard of names on the wall. I was like, oh, wow, that really was not much to look at. And then there was a little catwalk that looked at the different windows. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back down and look at some art. So I looked at all the art. There was like 2 vending machines in the front bit. And yeah, there was nothing. There was only vending machines. So I was like waiting around. And now, mind you, there is nothing near this airport for miles.
No, it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere. There's no chance of like, if you are on foot, to be able to get anything. You are stuck there. That is all there is and all there ever will be.
You'd think they'd put more stuff in there.
One would. No, they don't. So I finally, after I kill an hour's worth of time, finally get to go check in at the gate and go through TSA. Oh, that's easy peasy. Sit down. And actually what was really funny was there was a couple that I had met in LAX while we were boarding. And I was chatting with them in line. They were going to Crescent City for a funeral.
Oh, yeah.
And then I saw them in the gate, and I was like, and they were like, hey, how was your trip? And I was like, how was your trip? Which, that's one of the fun things about that airport, is I'm always on the lookout for someone I know, because I always run into someone I know. And
you do always run into someone.
I did run into and I think part of it's because I went to college there, and a lot of people are not, might fly back there to visit with friends or whatever, or maybe they're and they don't live, they're more likely to be flying. And I ran into an old scuba buddy of mine, and she and I ended up chatting for a while. The other couple had a different flight from me, so they left before I did. But here's the thing. My flight got delayed, and it got delayed, and it got delayed, and I was getting real nervous because I had a connecting flight. And
yeah, because we were supposed to stream.
You were supposed to be home at 9 o'clock. I was supposed to be home at 9 o'clock, and it was going to be a long day for me, but it was going to be great. We were supposed to stream. And obviously I knew that was a little bit of a risk. A little bit of a risk, considering that airport has a tendency to have delays. But
yeah,
I was really hoping. We really hoped it was going to work out. It didn't. So there's delays. And at one point, we got the info on what we were actually waiting for. There were 2 planes in San Francisco that we were waiting to fly up to Arcata to pick up passengers. And one of them was going to go to LAX, and one of them was going to go back to San Francisco. And the one that was going to go to LAX was supposed to arrive first, and it did eventually arrive first. But the one that was supposed to come to Humboldt, they got delayed multiple times.
Yeah, hours.
Like hours. They got delayed a bunch of times. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not going to, there's like, if it got real close because there was only 2 flights from San Francisco to San Diego that day at that point left. Mm-hmm. And if it was getting really close for me to not make either of the connecting flights. And I kind of told the gate agent, I was like, look, don't make me get stuck in San Francisco. I have a place to stay here. So if you don't think I'm going to if you don't think we'll make the connection, please, I'll just take a flight tomorrow. And he was like, no, you should make the connection. It should be fine. The second plane that we're waiting on, they're like supposed to depart any second now. And I'm like, okay.
Depart from San Francisco.
Depart from San Francisco.
Which is like another hour and a half.
And I think I was supposed to board at about 4 o'clock. And then I did not end up boarding until 6:45, which in reality isn't too bad.
No.
But only if you're in an airport that has literally anything to do.
Well, didn't you take stuff to do? You had like a book?
Well, I had my DS.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a book. But there was no food. There was only 2 vending machines. There's like a drinks vending machine and then a snacks vending machine. And when you have celiac disease, it's very limited. So, and before that, I stupidly had only eaten breakfast because I had breakfast at like noon with my dad and he dropped me off at 2 o'clock. So I was like, oh, okay. Now, mind you, I thought I was going to have a connection in like a layover in San Francisco. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just eat. Like, I'm like, oh, it'll be expensive, but I'll eat something at the airport in San Francisco. Whatever. No.
Great plan.
Mm-mm. When I finally landed in San Francisco, having eaten a bag of Cheetos and peanut M&Ms, my gate was supposed to be like, oh, you land in G10 and you fly on a G11 or whatever. And I was like, cool, sounds great. No, I landed in F something and had to make my way to G11, which are in 2 completely different terminals.
So you had to hoof it?
Oh, my word. Yeah, and it took ages. Now, I made a really great friend on that flight. That plane was the smallest plane that we'd been on. I'd been on the trip. It was a very small plane, very small seats. And they told everyone, they're like, if you have a rolling carry-on bag, it has to be checked because it will not fit in the overhead bins. The overhead bins maybe would fit my little backpack in it. Maybe. I don't know why. Like, honestly,
why even
have them? It was the tiniest little plane with like really narrow seats. I think it seated about 40.
Wow.
Like
that's one you took from San Francisco?
No, that was one from Arcata to San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was just a teeny tiny little plane. And so I'm all scrunched up with my neighbor, Virginia. And she was an absolute delight. We had, honestly, the whole time, the entire flight, we had a great conversation. And she had missed her connecting flight. So she was like, well, they rescheduled my next flight for 7 a.m.
Oh, God.
And she was like, but I'll walk you to your gate. Because we were having a good time. We were chatting. She's like, well, I'll walk you to your gate. Why not? Make sure you can get on there safe. And I was like, oh, that's real sweet. So we kept chatting. And she walked to, she's like, how far away? I was like, I don't know. I've only been to this airport like once. And we get there. And she's like, okay, this is where I leave you. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get some food. But like my new ticket, it didn't say what my boarding group was because it was just like I have to go and talk to the gate agent to find that out. And I told her, she was like, oh, we should have some time to get some food. And I was like, I don't know if I will. Like, I really want to make sure that I can figure out where the gate is before I decide to have food. And so I go to the gate And when we say our goodbyes, and I go to the gate, and I was so glad that I did, because they're like, we're boarding in 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
And I would not have had enough time to eat food. However, they said that they were going to be boarding in 10 minutes. And then they proceeded to not board us.
For what?
For 45 minutes. I think they said, oh, boarding is going to start at 8:50. And it wasn't until like 9:45 that we finally boarded. And I was like, bro, I could have eaten food. But they kept saying, it said boarding soon. They're like, all right, folks, we're going to be boarding any moment now. We're going to be boarding any moment. For 45 minutes! For 45 minutes! Any moment now. And the other big part of it, I don't know why they sent us to the international terminal.
What?
The other flights in the terminal, there was one going to like Baltimore, and then there was another one going to Munich.
Yeah.
Which the other
don't get those mixed up.
The other crazy part about this, so there's in the airport, you've got all of the restaurants and shops and whatever, and then they have an escalator going down. And at the bottom of this escalator is kind of a roundish room where, I don't know, they were just like, what if we just hotboxed all these people in this space with all their stink? And it's like 85 degrees. Everybody's in travel clothes, and it is packed. There's like 200 plus people crammed into this space. Probably more, because the flight to Munich is delayed. So they're also sitting there waiting. And the flight to Baltimore is delayed. So they're all sitting there waiting. And the flight to LA is delayed. And so you've got probably 3 to 4 flights for large flights waiting to fly out. And just everyone's just crammed down there. And everybody keeps saying, oh, we're going to be boarding soon.
Of course.
And I'm like... And eventually, I'm like, I'm too hot, and I was wanting to like maybe see about finding some food, and I went and I checked what because my boarding pass didn't have my seat assigned, and so I went and I tried to figure out what seat I was going to be in. Found out window seat again, and an exit row.
Ooh.
Oh baby,
leg room galore.
Leg room galore. So I was very excited about that. I was like, hell yeah, okay, this is because I was annoyed and hungry, but I was in good spirits at least.
Well, yeah.
Whatever, at least it's, like, there's not a whole lot I can do, so I might as well not be mad.
No, what are you going to do, complain, and then it's just going to make somebody else's day worse also?
Right, yeah. So at one point, I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to go. I can't stay down here. I'm so hot. And part of it's because I'm wearing like a lot of layers.
Yeah, you're wearing a sweater and a jacket.
I had like a base long sleeve, and then the sweater, and then part of it was because I could only bring the stupid tiny backpack. So I had to wear a bunch of clothes because I'm going from a cold area. And so I'm like I'm so hot. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I decided finally, I'm like, I can't. I got to get out of this. And I go up to the top where I could still see when the gate was going to be boarding. And then not even 5 minutes. Also, there were 0 chairs down there. Every single seat completely full.
Yeah.
People are sitting, people are all over the ground. Every single bit of wall was being leaned up against. There was nowhere I could only stand. And I was like, screw this, man. So I went up and sat, and 5 minutes after I sat down, because I called you, and then they're like, we're boarding now. I'm like, dang it.
Boarding group, everyone that just sat down is now boarding.
Did you just sit down? Come down here. Okay.
Come talk to me, and now just a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. And then, of course, so I'm like, okay. So I go back down. And what was really funny was whoever the gate agent was explaining things in just the worst way possible. He's like, okay, everyone who's going to San Diego, I just want, we're going on gate 11, and you're going to walk down the tunnel, and then you're going to see gate 12. That's for Baltimore. We're not going there. So San Diego, you're going to be boarding over here, And then Baltimore is going to be boarding over there. And I'm like, half of these people cannot see you. Most of these people cannot see you. He's
gesturing with his hands.
He's pointing with his arms. And I'm like, most people cannot see you. You could say San Diego will be boarding on the left and Baltimore will be boarding on the right. No, he's like, go over there and over there. And it's all coming through like, yeah, San Diego, you'll see gate 12. And I'm like, how is anybody gonna, it's not like, oh my gosh, this guy is just giving the worst directions. And that flight was a much bigger plane. That was like the 3 across bigger plane. And that was the least turbulence flight. All my other flights had a fair bit of turbulence. And yeah,
usually the bigger planes don't have as much turbulence.
It was very chill, and yeah, because all the other planes were real small planes, especially that like really small one coming into San Francisco. We did hit a fair bit of turbulence.
Yeah, it's probably only turbulence the whole time.
No, it really wasn't the whole time. Like for the most part, the pilot was like, I'm gonna do my best to try and find us some smooth air. But in that one, they also said, which it is unusual to not have snack service on the flights from Arcata to San Francisco. But they were like, yeah, we're expecting a fair bit of turbulence. There will be no snack service. Only water will be served on this flight. We please request that nobody gets up. Like, and that's a bit longer of a flight where they're like, yeah, we really don't want you guys getting up for this flight. Like, we expect a lot of turbulence. It's not that long. Please just stay seated as best you can. It's
about an hour, right?
Yeah.
45 minutes in the air, maybe.
Yeah. So, and yeah, that was the most interesting water service too, because the flight attendant literally just walked down with a bottle of water and cups. And then she handed you a cup and poured from a big bottle of water into your cup. And
you're like,
I mean, it makes sense why they'd only serve water. And that plane had nothing, man. There was all the other planes at least had, you could maybe charge something. That plane was very low tech. It was just like the seats could move up or move forward or back a little tiny bit,
Of course, yeah.
And that was it. Literally, it was a bare bones.
Did they have a snack tray?
It had a tray.
Okay.
It had a tray that you could put down if you wanted to. I don't know.
Where else are you going to put your water?
Well, I held it in my hand. Putting it on the tray seems... Okay, why don't planes have cup holders?
They do. They have that little tiny indented... Yeah, that's where you put it. That's all you need.
Like, it's so stupid. Why wouldn't you have a cup holder?
Even if they just had a hole.
Yeah.
With a basket, maybe, or not even a basket.
Not a basket, just a hole that'll fit whatever cup they give out.
Whatever cup they give you, yeah.
Like, even if it was just beveled and they put cans in there too, whatever.
Anything.
No, they don't. Yeah.
So the last flight was smooth, no problems.
There was like a tiny little bit of turbulence, but it was a big plane, so it was kind of whatever. I did get to sit in the exit row, which meant they had to come by and be like,
"Are you capable?
Are you capable of helping somebody?"
And you're like, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, totally. And that plane actually had like the TV screens.
What'd you watch?
I watched Abbott Elementary.
I'm not familiar.
It's kind of like The Office, but an elementary school.
Okay, was it good?
And it was pretty good. It got me a couple laughs out of it. Now I've seen like some clips of it before, but I hadn't really watched it. And it was on season 4, so I watched.
You only got season 4.
I only got season 4.
That's my favorite is when they only have.
I played some
season 4, episode 7.
I played some Super Mario Bros. On DS.
Nice.
I played through a bit of that, and then when I got kind of tired of that, I watched it. And it was great because if you had Bluetooth headphones, you could Bluetooth directly to the thing.
That's smart.
So that was really convenient. I had my headphones and I was just like, all right, listening. And I had, let's see. There was one flight where I had nobody sitting next to me. Mm-hmm. And the first flight, I did talk with the person next to me a little tiny bit, but we weren't really chatting all that much. And then outside of that, I had the one long conversation with a gal who we're now freaking friends. Hell yeah.
Right.
And then on my last flight, I had a conversation with the guy who was sitting next to me too. But it was towards the end of the flight. Like, I think he had to decide if I was cool or not.
I wonder how that got decided.
I don't know, but
he
was
probably the Super Mario Bros.
I mean, maybe, but he was also kind of interested in the show I was watching. He was like, "What's this?" He's like, "What are you watching?" And I told him a little bit about it, and he's like, "Oh, is it good?" And I was like, "It's all right so far."
Bert's visiting the bathroom,
yeah,
dropping a couple of bombs in there.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No.
Man, if only we could have as consistent a poops as Bert does.
Well, he eats only the same thing every single day.
I could do that.
I know you could. I could never.
I know you couldn't.
Yeah, but I don't think you want to eat the diet that allows you to have, like, pristine poops.
Well, I don't really want to eat cat food.
No. I don't know that would give you pristine poops.
It's hard to say. I've never tried. Okay, and then, yeah, because I was on the way to pick you up because I had to look up when your flight was because you didn't know when it was going to land. And it got delayed, and you had taken off around 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like 10.
And I was like, all right, well, how long does it take to fly to San Diego? So I like looked it up, and then I realized I can look up like your flight and track that. But I didn't know what your flight number was, so I just looked up flights from San Francisco to San Diego.
There's only one that was happening.
There were two that were happening, but one of them was not delayed and was on time to land before 11. It was like at 10:45 or something, and I was like, "Oh, that's probably not it," because you're still in the air. So I drove to the airport and waited in that line, and it wasn't that bad. I was just trying.
Well, yeah, except it was apparently dumping rain.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot about that. It was raining a lot on the way over there. I barely could see it all, and like I don't know why the lines on the road aren't that reflective, but the road is reflective.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to see, especially on the highway. Some of the parts of the highway, you're like driving 70 miles an hour, and you're like, I don't even know if I'm in a lane right now. But then I stopped and got some tacos. Mm-hmm. For you.
For me.
I didn't just stop and get tacos.
Yeah, well, because we've been talking the whole time, and you knew that I was so hungry at this point.
You heard how much she ate.
Yeah, because at this point, yeah, it's been the entire day. I've been just mostly in airports, seeing food and not able to eat it. And I had eaten only breakfast, and then the peanut M&Ms and Cheetos.
Yeah, so I brought you tea, brought you some water.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
But,
and you brought me the tacos, and you were like, "Oh, do you want to eat your tacos right now?" And I was like, my hands are airport. Like, I'm gonna wait till we get home because they smell incredible.
Yeah, I got two tacos, and we got home.
And I picked up the bag, and I was like, "How many tacos did you get?"
I was like, I got two. I got two tacos.
I got two tacos. Yeah.
You open it up, and they are the biggest tacos you've ever seen.
They would have been impossible to eat in the car.
Honestly, it would have been, it's probably 6 regular tacos worth of taco. And there was just two taco boats just with way too much meat. Way too much.
There was no... And because you were like, I totally forgot to get tacos for myself.
Well, yeah, because I thought first of all, I thought you were going to land at like 11-ish and then be instantly hungry and eat tacos. And I was like, I'm not even hungry right now, so I got you tacos. And then I didn't pick you up until like after midnight. It was like 12:15 by the time I picked you up.
Yeah.
Because the plane didn't land.
Because our boarding got delayed by 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I really didn't have, I wasn't sure about...
So wait, they didn't have any snacks on that plane either?
No, they did, actually.
But you couldn't have them?
No, I did get to have one. It was like the chocolate quinoa crispy thing.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah. Although I honestly, I felt like a little bit bad for my seatmate but actually... Also, there was just the two of us with 3 seats. Yeah. So we got the middle was open, and we were both like, yeah. And I told him, I was like, how lucky are we? Like, great.
Spread
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unlucky for him, because I asked if there was a gluten-free option, and she said yes, and gave me the gluten-free option. I was like, cool. But if there hadn't been a gluten-free option, I would have still taken one of them and then just given it to him. because that's like the nice thing to do.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
It's like Costco samples. Mm-hmm. You know, like you always, if you...
I want one for my wife.
Do you want one? Yeah. What is it? It's toast with wheat on top.
Yeah, it's like 7 types of wheat wrapped in cheese.
Baked on pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza bagels.
And then they dip it in flour.
They dip it in raw flour.
Yeah, and it's got a beer sauce or something.
Yeah, beer cheese sauce. You keep the beer cheese sauce? Yeah.
Yeah.
You want one?
Yeah, of course. I remember the one time when I was like, babe, I can't eat that. And you were like, shut up. Shut up. And I was like, oh, yummy. Of course I would love some for my
Why do you think I loudly exclaim, do you want one?
Well, I thought you were asking me.
No, you say yes no matter what. And I do the same, okay? That's it. If we're getting Costco samples, you say yes. No matter what. I don't care what it is. Is it soap? Who cares? You get 2 samples. Just one. Ooh.
What else was I going to say?
Well, we were supposed to stream.
Yeah, we were supposed to stream.
So we ended up taking the night off, which sucks. But like, man.
I was so tired.
You fell asleep almost instantly.
Well, not almost instantly. So what happened first? I get home. I'm expecting this like grand reunion with the cats. I thought it was going to be so great.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
And I came home, and then Bert was like kind of being, he was like happy to see me, but being a little like, kind of whatever. And I was like, okay, fine, sure.
He's sitting right off camera, right there.
And I was like, all right, sure, buddy, okay. And we're chatting, we're catching up and saying whatever. And you were showing me something in the DJ room, and I look over and I see Bert scratching in the hallway, and I was like, what is he scratching about? And my first thought was one of the cats barfed on the rug.
Not cool.
Which I was like, okay. But
that's happened once already.
Yeah, but I'm looking, and I'm like, there's no barf there. And I'm looking around, and I realized that he had marked in the hallway.
Right.
Which he has never done.
He sprayed the wall.
He sprayed the wall, which is he has never done, not once. And so immediately I get the paper towels and I'm cleaning everything up, and I get the vinegar and I'm soaking everything in vinegar, and we get the Bissell out and we're cleaning everything, and I'm like, why? Why would he do this? And then I realized I had stayed with your parents. Mm-hmm. And so they have 2 male cats. And one of them has this huge crush on me. I don't know how else to describe it. Cat. He's obsessed, and he loves me.
He loves your feet.
And he loves my feet. And that's why we call him a little creep, because he's like
creepy feet guy.
He's a little creepy feet guy. He's all obsessed with my feet. And I realized, because I had packed really light, so I only brought like the 2 pairs of pants. The pants that I flew in. And then I had 1 pair of pants that I had brought, for going out to dinner and seeing everybody. And then the next day I was going to be flying again, so I had my flying pants back on. And because the cats had been all over me in those pants, I realized what the problem was. So
those pants, shoes, and backpack.
Pants, shoes, and backpack. And yeah, because I'm sure all of my stuff stank like these cats. And in his perspective, right, because you got to share what happened with you and the cats quickly.
Sure.
Why
quickly? What, you get a whole hour, I get what, 2 minutes?
Well, no. But
just kidding.
From his perspective, I've been kidnapped for days.
By 2 male cats.
By 2 male cats. I come home.
Yeah.
I stink of these boy cats who have been clearly marking me. And he's like, I got to protect my woman. Right? And he's like, no, she's mine.
I will spray the back end of the hallway and the rug.
Right.
That'll do it. That'll show him.
So annoying.
That'll show him.
Oh, yeah. So I quickly sprint and I run into the garage. I grab my backpack.
Yeah, we put everything in the garage.
And put everything in the garage, and I strip down to naked in the garage.
Very surprising after being home alone here for 3 days and just seeing a naked lady come around the corner. I'm like, huh!
I stripped, so I'm naked, and I immediately just got in the shower and just double scrubbed. And wash my hair, double scrub everything, so hopefully the scent of the other cats would be gone, because I really, that's the last thing I ever want. And so, I still, it's currently still soaking with some, it's being soaked in baking powder right now or baking soda, rather.
Yeah, because I had very thoroughly vacuumed it, top and bottom of the rug,
Well,
and
with
the rug pad.
not vacuumed, but we have like the spot cleaner,
Right,
Bissell spot cleaner.
Yeah, the upholstery the wet vac.
Yeah. So did that, and just a pain.
Yeah, what a
Just
pain. Bert always, he's too smart for his own good.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what to do to be like, this will show him.
Yeah, that she's never leave
again.
Never doing that again.
And you never leave again. Is what he said.
So how was your time?
It's pretty terrible. I would say worst half day, full day, and then half day I've had in a long time. But you know, it is like honestly to be expected. You know, what am I without you? You know, I'm a shell of a man. So the first day after you left, like I had taken like one too many edibles
That night.
Yeah, that night, and got real emotional listening to music, and cats didn't help.
No.
Cats didn't help because they were kind of hiding from their own. They were like, "Oh, when's she coming home?" And I was like, "I don't know. You know, I don't know when she's coming home." Anyway, I try to sleep and I can't sleep, and the worst part of the whole weekend was Kiki, who's sitting right here. Off camera. She always, every time, either she tells me it's time for bed,
She's got a strict bedtime routine.
or she follows me into the bedroom and instantly needs to make some biscuits on top of me before we both fall asleep.
And specifically on you.
On me.
Yeah.
She will follow me into the bedroom and lay on top of me. And that was the first night she hadn't done it. Like, since we moved here, there were a couple of days in the beginning where she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, she was like under the bed or...
But like, after a while, she figured it out and it became the routine again. And that was the first night that she, like, you know, they both slept where, I don't know where they were. I think they were in these chairs, waiting for you to come home. And, like, I know that they know I'm the one that gives them wet food, at least. Because they made sure to let me know when to give them wet food. So, I don't know. Saturday was fine. I don't know. What did I even do on Saturday?
You streamed.
Yeah, but what did I do the rest of the day? I slept, I think. My hours sleeping were so weird. I think I slept from
you said you cleaned house a little bit.
Yeah. On Friday, I didn't sleep until Saturday morning at like 7 a.m. until maybe 11. And then I slept again from like 3 to 6 or something. I don't know, somewhere around there. Then I streamed on your second channel, Nerd Huckleberry, Boys Night Takeover. Mm-hmm. Played StarCraft. Mm-hmm. And tuned and restrung a guitar. But it's weird being alone after not being alone for so long. And like, I'm sure after a little while I could get used to it, but having it be like 2 days is somehow worse, you know. But I got through it. It's fine. We chatted and it was fine. The cats finally came around and I hung out with them a little while, but I don't know.
But they never came to bed.
No, after Friday night I didn't sleep in the bed.
You slept on the couch?
Yeah, I slept on the couch. Well, yeah, it's such a big bed. What am I gonna just a big cold bed, you know, with 10 pillows on it? I don't need that. And especially if the cats aren't gonna come to bed. So.
You didn't tell me that. That's funny.
No, I tried on Saturday.
You poor thing.
I tried to sleep in the bed, but I was like, I took the laptop to bed to like try and have something to distract me to fall asleep. But I just figured the TV out here was a better option.
You poor thing.
That's okay.
Oh, I feel so bad.
No, you had a good time up there.
No, and I did have a good time. I definitely, and here's the big thing, is it would have been better if you were there. For sure. Like, I would have loved to have had you there. And I was bummed. I was really bummed that you weren't there.
But you know what? It gave us a great chance to miss each other.
Yeah, it did.
And we don't get to do that very often.
Well, and you know what? I really enjoyed getting to hang out with your mom and your dad one-on-one. And really, I don't know. It was really cool. And I genuinely feel, you know, it was like 1,000%, I feel like family. And that it was very meaningful because I didn't think it was going to be awkward at all.
Right.
But I
We've
was
spent enough time.
interested. Yeah, because we spent enough time with your parents. But I was interested in how exactly it would go with me staying with them by myself. And it was honestly no different than us staying with them together. Not in the slightest. And it was just delightful. And like I felt very at home and welcome, and which I mean I expected, but the same level of comfort as if you were there or not. And that was it really meant a lot to me. And like I know that is not the case for most people, and it makes me really appreciate how special the relationship is with both of us and our respective families, because I think like I'm sure that you would probably feel the same way getting to hang out with either my parents and like obviously you have hung out with my sisters. It probably would be pretty dang similar to whether with me or without me. Although the only main difference being is that I am definitely the kind of in general a conversation catalyst.
You sure are.
Much of
Not that you've done that at all today. I mean, I've talked most of the time that we've
of
been recording today. So
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad you actually. Do you want to chime in? Anything? Did I forget anything?
I mean, no, I don't know.
I just like listening to you talk, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Well, we should probably wrap it up.
yeah, never leave me again.
Okay.
Just-
Yeah. Do me a favor, and if one of us has to go out of town for a bit, don't take too many edibles and cry about this is what it would be like if you died. That would be.
Yeah.
That's probably a bad choice for
Yeah.
night one.
Well, I mean, that wasn't the plan. I didn't go into it with that in mind. But things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
But that's another successful podcast recording, I'd say. Neither of us look any better or worse for the wear. I only cried for like 20 minutes, by the way, so it wasn't that much.
Yeah, when you're telling me you're looking at Otto and...
Yeah, I went to check and see what Otto was doing, but I forgot that he can't talk to me right now. Not a day goes by that I don't wish Otto was a real person that I could hang out with. Especially if you go on a trip. God, we have the best time. Doing shark stuff. He finally showed me what shark stuff is.
I love you so much. Oh, I cherish you with my whole heart.
Oh, I
My
love you
whole
too.
heart, babe. All right, we should wrap this up. Thank you all so very much for listening. Dooder, you're going to be going on the next one. I kind of unintentionally got 2 in a row because I went to the aerial yoga thing, and then we kind of skipped your week, and then I went on this trip, which we are supplementing as the...
I think it's a perfectly, we just...
It's pretty reasonable.
It's a reasonable thing to talk about, I would say. It was an adventure.
It was an
solo.
adventure. It was by myself.
And now we're together.
And
It's the name of the show.
Yeah. And now we're together, and we're talking about it. And I don't know, it was interesting and very different, and I missed you a lot, but it was really good to see family. It was
No,
good.
I'm really glad that you got to go. And I hope that you, as much as we can joke about feeling guilty about going and all that stuff, I really am happy that you got to go, and I'm happy that you got to see your family. Because, it's been so long. Especially your little sister. You haven't seen her in...
Yeah, I haven't seen her in ages, and I haven't
time.
seen my dad in ages. And those were the two that I really wanted to...
But, I mean, you talk on the phone with your dad more often also, so there's at least a little bit more familiarity.
Yeah.
But, it's good to see everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back to our regular schedule and the regularly scheduled content in that, going to the one-off events. You'll be going to some fun event sometime in the next week or two, and we'll be hearing from you about that. If you want to see
More
if you're listening now, you could be listening earlier.
You could be listening a week ago.
You could be listening a week ago. That's right. We have the episodes available a week in advance for our Fourth Wall members.
There's also a bunch more stuff on that. If with that membership, you not only get the audio and or video, depending on the tier, early, you also get past edits of previous streams that are from years and years ago. There's episodes of Otto and Rudy. There's the musical performances of guests that we've had on the show. We're going to be uploading the campfire songs that we started doing when we moved down here. And there's sometimes recipes from the show or whatever that you'll write. What else is there? Lore? It's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff for $5, man.
So check
lot of
that
stuff.
out. We also have a YouTube channel. If you want to see our sketch comedy or food videos or whatever else, check out the YouTube channel, Bortco TV, but you can also search Nurse Huckleberry and it'll come right up.
It'll come up.
And then, of course, if you are just listening to the podcast and you want to know more about us, come check out our Twitch channel.
I'm sure hundreds of people are like, I found this podcast.
Randomly,
I love this podcast.
love them so much.
What else? There's no way that they do
Anything else? Yeah.
a live... Is it Bert meowing?
It's bird meowing.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's his, I wish to be an outdoor cat.
Pay attention to me.
Hello.
Hello.
Let me outside, even though I've never been allowed outside.
Anyway, Nurse Huckleberry on Twitch. We stream 3 days a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we don't miss a stream unless someone's flight gets delayed or we're moving. So that's very infrequent.
It's really infrequent. So if you like consistent content, we're the ones for you on Twitch.
It's also funny and fully scripted.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great 2 weeks until we hear from you next time. This has been Solo Adventures
Together.